Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome to today's video. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 cosmic characters of patch 12.0 in Marvel Contest of Champions, in my opinion. So this is my perspective on it. We're going to give you kind of the rundown on some of who I perceive to be the best characters, and also talk about some of the cool stuff that they do, and why they're ranked in a certain order. So we're going to start off with number 5, which is Phoenix. Phoenix is a very, a fairly new character to the game. She's been in for about 5 months now, but it's going to be shortly in Arena, just after Quake and before Ghost Rider, so in like 4 weeks' time, Phoenix is going to be available in Arena. I really like Phoenix after the update. She's a lot more fun to play, a lot more easy to control. The basic thing about Phoenix is basically she has 2 kind of buffs. You have Phoenix Force and Fury, and the more Phoenix Force charges you have, the quicker you gain Fury. But with your Fury, you kind of want to stay in the sweet spot between like 5 and 10 buffs, which gives you a lot more damage, because if you go to 11, you actually overload and then go back down to 0 again. So you want to stay kind of between 5 to 10 for like the most damage, and also incinerating. So there's a lot of micromanaging to do with Phoenix there. She is really good damage output if you can pull it off. Not quite as much as kind of the top 3 cosmic champions, which we'll talk about, but still really solid damage output. Have one of the big the cons of Phoenix is her damage still takes quite a while to ramp up, quite a few heavy attacks initially, so she's got a bit of a slow ramp up time. So for a lot of fights in questing and arena, she isn't really that great. And when it comes to some of the bosses, champions like Hyperion and Drax are still considerably more effective at dealing with them, in my opinion. However, if you do get Phoenix up to, you awaken her, you max her out, because she is currently the top cosmic champion for Prestige, like, she's still alright for Alliance Quest. She'll still kill some bosses if you can play quite well, so that's good. She also has a fairly interesting synergy with Despair, because again, her Incinerate, when you're above like 5 stacks of Fury, will go on every attack, so that can synergize very well with the Despair Mastery, which reduces healing by 15% for every buff. You can almost get like a full heal block there most of the time. So yeah, really powerful stuff there. And then the final thing she has is a, if you've got her awakened, is she has a potential cheat death mechanic, which I believe is a little bit more reliable now. It's been fixed, so you can possibly like gain a lot of stacks of Phoenix Force, and then you can die and regen a lot of health that way. So there's some very interesting stuff that you can potentially do with Phoenix there. Really like her. She's probably my number 5. So my number 4 on the list is going to have to be, it's both Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, because they are practically the same character, very similar to, Captain America World War II. However, these two are even closer together in terms of their abilities and stuff. I think the only difference is actually synergies. They're both very simple yet effective champions, so really solid damage output. They're poison immune, they're very good for Alliance Quest, kind of the on any of the poison immune lanes that you need, the poison lanes where you need a poison immune character to deal with, because they're just really fun, hard-hitting champions. They have a chance to gain quite a nice Fury on their basic attacks, and also when you have them awakened, they'll deal more damage based on the amount of power you have stored, and also when you're blocking, you can convert any energy attacks into a little bit of power as well. So that's a little bit useful in some scenarios, but most of the time you're still better off just evading special attacks to reduce the amount of damage taken. But apart from that, Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel don't have many bells and whistles. They're just very simple but very effective characters that are still played a lot in Alliance Quest and Endgame, and very good for that. So at number 3, now I've had to think about this. I think the top 3, it's very debatable. There are circumstances again where certain characters are better than the other, but at number 3, I'm gonna place the old number 1 champion, and at number 3, guys, it is the God of Thunder himself. It is the Odin's son. It's Thor. After the nerf, Thor is still a really good. He's a really good, really hard-hitting champion, but I prefer the playstyle of number 1 and 2 on the list, because with 4, you still have to be quite defensive. You're relying on parrying to get the armor break and the damage output that way. He's still good. He's still fun to play. He's still like a viable champion, and he's slightly better prestige than my number 2, which is Drax. And he's good for any fight that isn't bleed immune, because that's one of Drax's cons as well is that for a lot of damage, for crazy damage on Drax, you do need the opponent to bleed, and also has slightly better prestige than Drax. But 4, he has a really strong armor break, got a nice fury there, also has a chance to stun on his special attacks, which circumstantially again can be a little bit more useful than some of the stuff that Drax and Hyperion have, which are my number 1 and 2. But anyway, the number 2, ladies and gentlemen, as I have probably already spilled over, is Drax. I love Drax, especially with deep wounds. I think overall he's a better option for a lot more fights, and he really does suit my very aggressive playstyle that I have, because with 4 again you're very defensive, you rely on parrying quite a bit, and especially with parry timing being a little bit screwed up at the moment, it's very annoying. But Drax is just an insanely hard-hitting champion. The fury just ramps up so incredibly quickly, the bleed is amazing and synergizes so well with the deep wounds mastery. So yeah, Drax does have a lot going for him, not in terms of like utility and description, but all in terms of like his damage output. It's just raw, crazy damage output with Drax. If you'd like to see like a 550 showcase, we did a Realm of Legends Winter Soldier kill where we took him down with Drax. Just such a beast mode champion now. But yeah, I really like Drax. Really solid damage dealer, and comparatively, we also did a video in scenarios where you can bleed the opponent. He's getting stuff done a lot faster than 4 as well. So I really like Drax, guys. I really like Drax, and I think that at the moment he's a little bit above 4. However, 4 does have better prestige, so if you need to rank up a cosmic character to get, and it's going to affect your top 5 characters, then maybe 4 is the slightly better option. But I believe between these 2 characters, it's not really a case of like flatline, one is better for every scenario. It's kind of based on your personal preference and your roster. But with that in mind, you know, I decided to go for Drax. Like, I think he's so sweet at the moment. Now, the final champion, who is being added to the crystals next Tuesday. So he's currently available as a 5-star for 2 weeks. And I think he's pretty much the definitive number 1 for the Cosmic Champions. And we're just going down the Summoner leaderboard to find him and his abilities here. So we got Hyperion, ladies and gentlemen. Hyperion is such an insane character. There is so much you can do with Hyperion. Like, he's such a cool character. So to start off, he's poison immune, which makes him perfect for a lot of maps in Alliance Quest. On his heavy attack, so his heavy attack actually has, I believe it's a total of 4 or 5 hits. It's quite a few punches there, but has a 40% chance to give you a really significant fury for 10 seconds, and when this character is awakened, it actually increases all buff duration, so ups that from like 10 seconds to anywhere up to, I believe it's 100% maximum, might be a little bit less than that. But yeah, it goes up by quite a bit. That could potentially be very close to 20 seconds. If you have the Black Bolt synergy, maybe you get the Fury for like 25-30 seconds. Like, there's some pretty crazy stuff you can do with the Fury there. Special Attack 1, very powerful synergy, incinerates the opponent, and this stacks multiple times. So again, synergizes very well with Despair there, while dealing a ton of damage. Hyperion passively as well. Has a ton of power gain. On his special attack 2, he has a 4-second stun that has a 60% chance. So it's quite a decent chance there, and also quite a strong armor break on the special attack 2. On the special attack 3, so there's a bit of a, let's actually talk about his cosmic charges and the way that those work. So when he's not at full power, his cosmic charges give him power gain, and gives you like 1 bar of power over its duration. But when you are at full power, it increases your attack by a ton and physical resistance by a ton, and this stacks up to 3 times. And then if you kind of wait till you get to full power, you have those 3 stacks of the attack and physical resistance increase, then you can actually use the special attack free, and that will allow you to go into overcharge mode, which allows you to keep the insane attack and physical resistance bonus, while also having the power gain. So you get the best of both worlds. So the damage just ramps up and potentially goes absolutely crazy there. So yeah, that's really what makes Hyperion he just has so much different potential in terms of the stuff and utility he can do amongst his various abilities, while retaining like the best damage output. If you play quite well with Hyperion, I believe he has the best damage output overall. Maybe not in some scenarios. I think in some scenarios Drax and 4 can take, you know, kind of rear ahead of him. But I think there are some scenarios where Hyperion can just absolutely dominate the both of them while also being poison immune and having this pretty crazy set of utility. And the final thing that he does is potential to heal, so you can dash back and regen a bit of his health over 15 seconds. Again, this is increased as the if the character is awakened. So yeah, the regen really isn't too much, but if you're in Alliance Quest, if you need to get a little bit of health back at the end of the fight, and you don't mind kind of like dashing back and playing a little bit of defensively for about 15 seconds while you regen before you finish the fight, that's a way to kind of top off this champion just before you end the fight. So you can go on to the next fight a little bit topped up there if you can play well. So I think there's some really cool stuff there with Hyperion, but also one of the interesting things to bear in mind with the Cosmic class as well is next month we have the Guardians of the Galaxy event, and we're going to see 3 new characters. We're going to see King Groot, we're going to see Nebula, and we're going to see Yondu, and I feel like it's pretty likely that all of those characters stand a very strong chance to be Cosmic, although it is possible that they could weave any of the characters to be Tech as well. I think there is a chance that either Yondu or Nebula could be Tech, but I think it's also pretty likely that all of them are going to be Cosmic as well. So I think kind of moving into next month onward, there might be a really big shake-up in kind of the top 5 Cosmic there. I think Yondu, I'm pretty sure Yondu and King Groot are definitely going to be Cosmic, but Nebula might be Cosmic. She's the daughter of Thanos, but also I could see how they could work her to be Tech as well. So yeah, new characters incoming. That's pretty much the big disclaimer here. So aside from that, honorable mentions and shout-outs for other pretty good Cosmic champions. So Superior Iron Man is probably the best out of the Iron Man class and the most reliable. That regen can sometimes be very useful on fights like in this month's quest. We've got Iceman. When you go to a certain threshold, just bounces you right back up. So for questing, Superior Iron Man's pretty good. Kamala Khan isn't that great. She isn't a super awesome champion, but she's pretty easy to get. She's poison immune, so that can potentially be useful in some scenarios, but even on her best days, she has very low damage output in comparison to some of the other Cosmics. So Kamala Khan, she's fun for novelty, but doesn't really have that much use. Symbiote Spider-Man just hits like a truck. Really good character. Unfortunately, he's still lacking behind in comparison to Thor and Drax in terms of his damage output, and is a bit of he's a bit squishy, whereas Thor and Drax, they not only have the insane damage output, but they also have a really big health pool as well, so that's a big advantage to them as well. Then we have Venom Pool. Venom Pool is a bit of a lost utility champion there, just doesn't really have the damage output. His bleed is very weak, so the only 2 things that he relies on is his utility. So he has a heal block on his special 2, which you can't get 100% uptime on, and then he has a potential to nullify 1 buff on his special 1 and convert that into health, and he gains really random buffs when he's awakened as well. Doesn't really have a use in my opinion. He's just not good enough. The randomness isn't good enough on his awakened ability to make him a character that you want to invest in. So yeah, a little bit disappointed because Venom Pool's awesome. He's got some really cool animations and I love his design. I just wish he was a little bit better. Then we have, what do we have up next? We have Black Bolt. Black Bolt is a very good character to have for the Cosmic Supremacy synergy. So I think it's called Cosmic Supremacy anyway. Let me just have a look. Yeah, there it is. So this is on a 4-star, 3-star, and 2-star Black Bolt, and that's what I was talking about earlier when we were mentioning Hyperion. So basically paired with, you know, like Drax or Hyperion, and then like a Ronin and 3 Black Bolts, you can have up to 75% increased duration of all Fury buffs, Precision, Cruelty, and Armor Up. So yeah, there's some really crazy stuff you can do with that synergy if you have the right characters. In like a questing or maybe Winter Soldier scenario to increase the duration of your buffs by quite a bit. But Black Bolt, he has a nice stun, he has some direct damage as well. He has a damage back on his special 2, which is a little bit weird. He basically has a recoil inbuilt to that attack. So that's a little bit annoying, but his special attacks have a decent chance to stun, and the stun is quite long. It's 3 seconds for the special 1, 4 seconds for the special 2. Special attack 3 is 4.5 seconds. One of the longest stuns in the game, actually, there, but doesn't have 100% chance to proc, only 90%, so a similar rate to Black Widow. Also now has a little bit of armor break and also poison immunity, so I don't know, I think Black Bolt, he might be my number 6 on this list, you know, if I had to go down a little bit more. Then we also have Venom. Venom is a very, very fun champion to play. A lot of damage output when you're fighting a bleed target, but still not enough damage output. But he's very, very fun character to play. And if you're fighting Venom, he plays very aggressively. I just don't think he has a really great use at the moment, but he's just a really fun character. Then you also have Ronan. So Ronan is just great, even unawakened, for a lot of bosses that require like an infinite stun. Like he was great for Dormammu. Any fight that has like a power gain node, Ronan is pretty much your guy because he's got 100% chance to stun on his special one. So that just makes him really, really overpowered in certain scenarios. A bit of a gimmick champion in that regard, but yeah. I don't think you'd ever need to like rank up Ronan. Whenever, you know, Ronan's like the go-to option for something, all the strategy is just power gain, infinite stun, so it doesn't really matter like how powerful your Ronan is at all. It's just all about just, you know, getting that stun off again and again and again. That's pretty much it. Like, it's just stun the opponent and hit them, and if you do have a ranked up Ronan, it goes a little bit quicker, but if you don't need to worry about that too much. Then behind me is Groot. So Groot is a alright Alliance War defender, especially in the lower tiers. He's pretty good because a lot of people suck at fighting Groot. But in the higher tiers, everybody is like, Groot is everybody's bitch. He's so easy to fight once you get used to him and continually bait those special ones. But yeah, Groot's yeah, not that great overall, to be honest. Let's be real here. Then finally we have Gamora, and Gamora is quite a fun champion to play, but in comparison to Drax, like, she's very lacking in terms of her damage output. Again, doesn't really have any insane or awesome utility. So Gamora's, she's just okay. She's just okay. Decent damage output, quite fun to play. So maybe above our average damage output, but she's just not quite as good as Drax or Thor or Hyperion, so didn't quite make the top 5 list there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of the cosmic characters at the moment? Do you agree with my list? Is your list a little bit different? Do you think certain characters rank above others? Let me know in the comments below. Apart from that, hope you enjoyed the final top 5 video, ladies and gentlemen. The full updated tier list. We're hopefully going to get it out tomorrow. Like, hopefully we'll do a video on that tomorrow. So we're going to have a nice list of how all the champions rank in comparison to each other. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, thank you for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.